servers, bartenders, anyone in customer service, don't forget that yes, you may work for a company or a brand or whatever, but you're the one that is representing it in your style. Take pride in it. Take ownership of being a server, of being a barback. I have had every single one of my opportunities from my dreams come from waiting tables. It is possible, but you have to go ahead and want something more. And if something's bothering you, find a way to love it, because then you're free of whatever it is that's controlling you emotionally, and life becomes easier to process and enjoy. But don't be afraid to share who you are. You do it all the time already. You just don't know what you look like doing it. And if you're that embarrassed, you're being given a moment to get over it. If you're triggered by something, if you're like, if you're gaslit by something, embarrassed by something, these are all like the best moments to learn about yourself and what bothers you, what emotionally like controls you. Because don't forget, the first thing that can make you react and lose your temper and lose your control and lose your cool, whatever caused that, they won. And just don't put yourself through that. Get ahead of yourself. Understand psychology a little bit. It's not a fairy tale world that so many of us want to think that we live in. Things aren't fair. We have to get over it. And the way to do that is by putting out positive, encouraging, productive, and useful content. Don't gatekeep wisdom. Share it with others, because guess what? It comes back 10x in ways that you'd never expect, which is then another blessing, because guess what? You get to be shown why expectations will only lead to disappointment. You gotta search for the peace in life. Let the peace guide you. As an addict, I've been told that we love the highs and lows. So the things that give us peace are the ones that we need to go ahead and follow. And there's never been more true information given than the fact that these exciting moments of our life are not actually the ones we need to be after. Those are the ones that are the tests. Those are the ones that are just looking to see if we're going to behave differently, or if we're just going to go back in the same loop, if we're just going to whine about it, or if we're going to make these lifestyle changes. Most of the things that I say have been the same things I'm realizing for the last 6-7 years. My message hasn't changed, but there's been this conscious awakening that it's been amazing. And so I know it's real. And I do get frustrated that others around me aren't at that point of their journey yet where they're able to take that accountability, and that's okay. I can't get mad at anybody for the way they act. I can't get mad at anybody for the way they spend their money. Why would I get upset about those things when I can look at all of the people around me that are achieving the goals that they set out for? I can look at the people around me and wonder, are these the kinds of people that I want to be like? The statement is true. Show me your 5 friends and I'll show you who you are. When people get gaslit or triggered by the objective and very I'm very specific about the way that I do my best to be mindful of incendiary words, to be mindful of context, but at the same time, I use words literally. And to a lot of people my age and younger, that's a real hot button issue because they've, I guess, learned and been conditioned to be, I don't know, the modern term, like if somebody says, yo, that's hot, like they don't mean that that's hot, they mean that it's like attractive or sexy or whatever. So in those moments, I don't say that's hot, I say, wow, that's, and then whatever adjective, beautiful, and then I try to be as specific about something that I noticed, so that the words that I use are not just like flippant. They're not just tossed out there. They're specific. They're thoughtful. But it took time to train myself to get to that point. The mindset that I've got now is not, it's not something that I like just woke up with. The way that I am now has been birthed from a complete loss of everything except my life. And in so doing that, I've learned to appreciate right now and just enjoying right now and finding ways to bring that out of others through a camera, through a talk like this, through DMs, whatever the method is. The ones that are, I don't know, the ones that are connected to me. It's so cool. It's frustrating too because this, the things that I say when I say I feel like I have a superpower, I understand how funny, like, it is to say that. But that's the only way that I can describe this, and that's when I look into somebody's eyes, and I've realized I don't have to look at them directly either. When I'm able to see their eyes and like what it is that they're noticing about things, I can't explain how I do this, but I see who they are. And that's awesome. Like, I don't judge them for it, but I start to prepare myself to go ahead and lay the groundwork for asking questions or listening to conversations to see, is this person somebody that will find time with me valuable or enjoyable? Or will I find time with them valuable or enjoyable? Because even hanging out, I don't just hang out. I'm sitting in my room right now. I usually have like 2 or 3 hour conversations overnight. Nothing about what I do in my life now wastes time, if I can help it. Now I say that because there's a caveat. It depends on what you mean when you say waste time. Any time and energy not put into like building, in my mind, feels like that. Feels like a waste. So I do my best to, like, I stack hanging out with friends with creative photo shoots at venues that I'd like to, collaborate with. Like, everything about the things that I do is thoughtful, to be layers and layers and layers of value deep, so where I don't have to think about things that I'm doing. I just know my intention is to connect people in Miami, to show the hardest workers in Miami, to bring people that feeling of being seen that I realized like I had longed for when I was a fat kid. So I know what it feels like to get that recognition when it felt like a long time of just never being appreciated. I am not afraid to teach anybody the way that I do things. Initially, I'll admit I gate kept or whatever, in the sense that I would watermark everything. But over time, I've developed a style. I've developed a standard for the type of person or brand that I work with. I choose it. And it's taken a lot of loss, a lot of work, and a lot of unsure about the future. Nobody knows if their dreams are going to work. But I'm watching mine build every day, and so I know it's real. But it's real because I really boiled down what it was that I wanted. And I was able to do that because of the term ikigai that I'd found. And that was such a game changer that I figured ways to just help anybody discover it, in a sense. I've got questions, I've got like ways to pry, to get around a person's intelligence and their defenses. And it's to go ahead and open up perspectives, to know that there's more, that they're worth more, that they deserve to be celebrated. There's enough room at the top. When we all help each other get there, because it's a different top for all of us. But for so many of us, money, power, sex, drugs, they're all missing one thing though. It's what I call second step thinking. What happens after you do the thing that you wanted to? Just think about it. Or, on the other side, what happens after the worst thing that you could imagine comes to fruition? What are your next moves? You don't have to be paralyzed by anxiety, excitement, the fear of loss. When you learn to know that it's only right now. Your brain goes in the future, you can't worry about it. You can prepare for the worst, you can hope for the best, and you can think about the second step after whether the best or worst happen. And then what? Like, dive down, boil it down, and then what? What are you gonna do? And when you do that, if you're able to write it down, brain rests. And then it's got an ability to breathe, take things easy, and continue the flow. But there has to be the foresight. What it is that you want, what it is that you're willing to sacrifice to get there, why you think you want that, why you think you need it. Because fun fact, you have everything that you need right now. If you were supposed to have it, you would. Plain and simple. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever. It's not important. Your past is not important. How you deal with your past is important. How you speak about your past is important. The way that you view your past is important. If there's any type of feeling that you have less than happy that you're alive about your past, please know that that's a moment for you to overcome. Nothing's going to make that situation different. And you're still here after it. So, what makes you different than somebody else that's gone through something and found happiness in their life? You don't necessarily need to know my story or the details to understand my heart, my intention. Those all distract people. And right now we have enough distractions. So I don't remember where this rant started. It was like a couple minute videos, and then I just got to rolling. But this is how I'm able to go ahead and take the advice that I was given tonight by my final table at the restaurant. It just so happens that they're from Texas. Me too. It just so happens that they travel the world doing YouTube. That's always been the dream. I want to be able to go find the people that love this industry that I'm in, that are like me, from different cultures. I want to discover those things. But I want my work to have been the reason that I'm there. I want the value that I just bring through my existence. That's what I want to be my currency, I guess. And it's just remarkable how synchronistic things are when you learn to let go and understand that there's nothing you can do about it except preparing yourself. Don't be lazy. It matters what you watch, it matters what you say. Take yourself seriously if you expect others to. Otherwise, you're not allowed to get disrespected. Because what did you actually do to earn that respect? You've made mistakes just like they have. People people that claim to want a better world and then post negative political things, that's the one that I really don't get. It doesn't make sense objectively. If you're posting this political information that's damning to one side or another, it's not because you like want something good. It's because the internet was able to go ahead and create something that made you react, and therefore they won. But what's actually happening is even deeper. You just became a part of the problem. In promoting that content, you just hammered in that divider between people a little bit more. And I don't think you did it intentionally. But that's how thoughtful these people are that are telling us what to be upset about or to be happy about. Like, it's why I don't like putting so much unnecessary attention on money. Money's a tool. It's a very necessary tool. But at the end of the day, it's no different than a hammer. It can build a secure future. Just like a hammer can build a secure house, protecting your future. So, the fact that we're just arbitrarily giving attention to money because we think that's what success is. Sorry, it's not success. The richest people in the world aren't out there flashing their money because they don't have to, because they don't have anything to prove. Why I'm not necessarily worried about my outfit all the time or whatever is because I've got nothing to prove, and in fact, it's allowed me to navigate my relationships way better and more authentically, because the people that also see past the whatever appearance, they see the genuine me. It's an immediate qualifier to say yes energy, no energy, and then I move on. And it's repetition of these things and being mindful of these things and not responding to everything and not giving your opinion about everything. What makes your opinion even matter? What have you done to earn the right to contribute to the discussion? Because frankly, if a piece of information from the internet can cause you to reshare it, like, I'm not talking shit about you, but it is something you need to understand is a weakness, and it will not help bring anything or anyone together. It will not ascend past these tribal and primal things we do. But for fuck's sake, be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of the judgments that you cast. It's so much easier to just be like, alright, cool, than it is to defend yourself. If somebody accuses you of something, cool. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. If you didn't say it, you didn't say it. If you know you don't speak like that in any situation, then it's super easy to just say, okay. But now, if you're worried about those little things, it's because you're concerned about the way that others might see you, or perceive you, or treat you, whatever. And it doesn't matter. The longest friends that I've ever had, okay, I've known them a long time, but they're not here with me right now. I learned that when I moved out of Waco to Miami by myself. I got clean and realized that I used drugs to go to sleep because of guilt that I had because I was continuing to fall further into addiction and not listen to my parents' advice and such. So when I sat in detox, or in the half, it was a 3/4 way house, I was like, wait a second, if my parents died tomorrow, how would I learn about life? And then I thought about, okay, well, YouTube or this, and I got past that initial, major fear of my parents dying and being gone. I got past that initial part, and then I was able to go ahead and strengthen, the anxiety of what would happen after they do, after they die, then what? Well, act it out, role play, write it down. What I realized is that being in Florida, my parents can pass away at any time, and I'm very fortunate to have spent so many years with them. But there's nothing I can do about that. And the solution that I've come up with is that everything that I do and everything that I built Carbon Nation on has been foundationally based on the kindnesses that my parents gave to me growing up, me and my sister. I was adopted when I was 4 days old. I could have ended up in a much different situation. But I was literally picked and wound up in the couldn't have had a better life than me so far. But I pay it forward to others that may not have had that opportunity to be shown love or support. I'm very honest, I'm very direct. To people that don't understand how much of in the now that I am, I'm intense. And that's okay. I don't take it personally when people are like, yo, Tex, you're it's a lot. I'm like, my bad, I get excited about things. But thinking about the worst things that could happen, and then figuring it out after that. Because what's worse than a random loss? It wouldn't even be random, it's just my dad's 83. Yeah, 83. My mom's 70. Apparently people die in their 80s. And I'm not trying to manifest that or anything, but nobody stays in our life forever. Where do you live? How many friends do you have? If you were to answer that, what would you say? Where do you live? How many friends do you have? A lot of people, in fact, most people go ahead and say that they live in the city where they reside and that they have a X number of friends. Because right now, I'm in my room alone. So where do I live? I am living. I live right now. How many friends do I have? I got nobody right now. I got me. I got source. I got whatever we want to call it. But my best friends aren't here. My romantic interests aren't here. My parents aren't here right now. So how is that different than them actually being gone? It's because we expect to be able to call them later. It's because we expect them to be there later. That allows us to go ahead and lessen the amount of love that we show now, and intensity and passion, because we expect tomorrow, or we expect them to get there safely. We expect things to go well. It's not usually how they go. And in fact, that's oftentimes the worst moments is when you get to get out and that shift. That shift is completely life-changing. But it takes a really weird path for everybody, I think, to get there. And I hope you do. I hope that you're watching this, whoever you are. Or if it's me in the future. Hair looks healthy, right? That's what they're all saying. I don't know. Just start thinking about things more. Stop allowing yourself to be emotionally controlled. You're in charge of that. I don't watch violent things because I don't want those thoughts in my mind. I don't care how big or small. I don't like watching people get hit, hurt, any of that. It plays a subtle effect in your life that one day becomes anxiety for, whatever. You have to take medication. Learn to embrace the difficult, to accept the difficult. And understand that things don't work the way you want them to. They work the way that they're supposed to. And the trick is to finding that flow to where you're just able to be, and life happens for you. I mean, it's easier said than done. Except I'm saying it because I've done it, and I continue to do it. I continue to share this knowledge with as many people as I can. Whether you're a guest at any restaurant that I've worked at, whether if you're a photography client, I use every chance possible to identify these ways into people's perspective and just plant the seed that they can think bigger, and that they're worth more, and that they can be proud. I just love to shatter perspectives. jealous ones, and it's an automatic response that they've conditioned themselves to have, to not allow their ego to suffer or feel insignificant in comparison to. But here's another trick. Nobody's better than you or worse than you. Literally. They've just spent more time doing something than you have. We all have a story. None of us are really the same. And none of us are supposed to be on the same path. So, like, why the fuck would you look at somebody else and be like, I want that? So be that. If you want there to be peace and justice in this world, then be peace and justice, but the real definitions of them, not the emotional driven ones. Like, for instance, this DEI shit and this identity politics, like, yo, it drives me up a wall to see so many great people identified by either their gender or their race as the highlight versus what they've actually done. It just cheapens things to me. I don't give a fuck what gender you are or what skin color you have. I know plenty of people with varietals of them all that are in all different walks of life. That only makes a difference when you bring the energy around to make a difference, like to allow it to make a difference. What was that president's wife that said something like, that was Monica Lewinsky. But they said, nobody can make you feel worthless without your approval. Words only have the meanings that you give them. I know the meanings that they have, but the emotional responses that you release, well, that tells me and everyone around, that signals how you interpreted the word. So, if you find yourself getting upset, maybe just try to see that there's another way that could have been understood. If you're not selective with your words, then why would you ever get upset at somebody else for not being? If you make mistakes, how can you be upset for somebody else for doing the same? How about cut some slack? How about give them a break? Not a break. Give them a chance to earn the respect back. People will always be people. It's the words that fucking divide us and make us feel less than. Like, what are you waiting for? There's a lot dumber people out there, a lot uglier people. Whatever adjective you want to negatively associate with people that you consider less than you, they're getting what you say that you want to have. But it's because they're not just talking shit and bitching. They're putting in the work to solve problems and to bring value. Living for yourself. It's fun. But it gets old. It gets boring. And then when you don't know how to find yourself after decades of whatever, wandering. What does anybody expect to happen? I don't think people are automatically going to just wind up knowing how to pull themselves out. Yet here we are just stigmatizing them, and I don't know. I say we because as a collective I include myself in humanity. But personally, I'm not like most people. And that's by design, that's by my own effort. I am like some people because I work hard to be like them. They're the examples that I follow. I am like, it's all equal, right? It's all as above, so below. Like it's all even. Coincidentia oppositorum. Perfect duality exists. And to understand that is to be like awakened. We just need we need real things to be showcased, to be valued, to be highlighted. So that's what I'm doing. Almost everything that I will ever suggest to anybody to do or to think about, it's really cool because it's got this like fail-safe kind of thing. I can tell somebody's intelligence by the way that they try to get ahead of the questions that I ask, to go ahead and tell me what they think that I want to hear, that will end up, I don't know, giving them justification for something. In all reality, it don't matter. Backstreet Boys had it right. I don't care who you are, where you've been, or what you did, as long as you love me. The details don't matter. They're just distractions. Get over it. It's gone. It's not what you need to be talking about. Let's talk about how to figure out ways to get ahead of it in the future, so that the ones that you claim to care about or want to see succeed have the tools to overcome the obstacle and move on faster. Nobody needs their obstacles taken away from them. One of the best things that I heard from Joe Rogan is that like he likes to make parts of his day hard, because then if they're difficult, the rest of your day is simpler. It makes things easier to go ahead and flow. Don't be afraid of the hardship. If there's a task at your job that you just hate it, the sooner you can understand that that thing isn't going anywhere, the sooner you're able to go ahead and make that annoyance your bitch. Or are you going to allow something that bothers you to continue to win day in and day out? Like Miami drivers do with traffic. Motherfuckers, it's not your first day driving here. Get over it. Calm the fuck down. Leave your house earlier. But like, yo, you're already making 1,000 decisions while you're driving, so like, just know that you're gonna be reactionary to things. So understand that. Anticipate somebody cutting you off. Anticipate somebody breaking into. Think about more than you. Think about how you play into the situation around you. Think about what your decisions may cause others to do. If you immediately break, what's that do to the person behind you? Put yourself in their situation. Think about these things. They matter. They cause you to evolve to where life doesn't happen to you anymore. It happens with you. It happens for you. You have the ability to make that happen. If you've known me for any amount of time, I've told everyone that I'm happy to be a resource for putting you on the track to learning how to be the most divine and powerful you. Because goddamn it, we are superheroes, superhumans. If you cut yourself, you heal it. You don't even have to think about it when you do it. Now imagine what would happen if you thought about those things. Just be thoughtful. Especially about serving others. Be mindful of ways that you can help. Put your needs on the back burner. Like I said earlier, you have what you're supposed to have right now. If you don't have it, then you're not supposed to have it. It's probably because you can't appreciate it. Probably because you can't treat it right. And be glad that you're not giving it instead of giving it to fuck up. Is it better to have loved and lost or never loved at all? That's rhetorical for you. I'm going to leave you with this. It's the ikigai. It's the term ikigai. It's Japanese for the purpose of being. What are you good at? What's the world need? What can you get paid to do? And what do you love? If you woke up tomorrow and money was worthless to everybody on earth, what would you do until you're 100 years old every fucking day? What would you do every single day? And be thoughtful about this. Don't fucking say travel. Because like that includes bus stops. You're not saying how you're traveling. You're saying travel. Find something that you enjoy doing every day, like a passion. What do you enjoy? Which one of your hobbies? Now, what does the world need? What do you believe the world needs more of? And again, think about this deeper. I've always said that it needs more kindness. So, what can you get paid to do? That passion or hobby that you have, are there any ways to go ahead and monetize it somehow? Are there any fields that you're able to go ahead and circumvent the traditional method to getting there? Think about these things. Ask ChatGPT. AI is incredible. And what do you love? What do you love? What are you good at? What do other people tell you that you're good at? That's how you make money. The answers are all there. It's up to you to find the ways to challenge yourself to being hungry to learn. There's no trapdoor. There's no easy way. It takes time. And unfortunately, almost all of us in this country have been slowly and surely guided this one direction. But the way that we think, and I'm not saying that that's incorrect, but it's definitely very controlled, and it does need to be understood by each of us individually, why we believe the things that we believe, why we have the faith that we have. Was it passed on? Did we develop it? Did we experience it? These things matter. They're all part of your self-identity. And here's something. Who are you without the invention of anyone else? Without clothing, without language, without society, without breath. Again, I'm kindness. I used to have a restaurant. It was a Michelin-style restaurant that did Afro-Caribbean cuisine. 11 to 15 courses, Michelin style. The name of the restaurant was Flora. It was named after my business partner's mom. The synchronistic moment of how I knew I was on the right track was I was frustrated in the restaurant that I was working at. I just thought that nobody appreciated the talent that these chefs had and what they were putting in front of these people. So when Chef Mikey told me, hey, it's named Flora, my brain just went for love of real appreciation. The name encompassed what Mikey held close to his heart, and also what I held close to my heart. That's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. It doesn't need to be like, but gratitude for those moments, those simple moments, will be what build my legacy, your legacy. It'll be like, I wrote something years ago that said, be the person now that your kids can brag about later. You don't have to, like, I don't know, just the same amount of energy and attention that you're putting into worrying about things can be given on the opposite end of the spectrum, with confidence that you'll be able to handle those things should they go differently than you'd like. I mean, the sooner you're able to accept that things don't go the way you want because you want them to, the sooner life becomes easy. The sooner you can tap into this flow. I am determined to get the most humble people that I know, with the most talent and wisdom, to feel confident in sharing it with others, because they've finally broken through that whole interpretation of arrogance and have understood benevolence. Has that ever been somebody's name? No, prudence. Never mind. I'm going to finish just by saying, take a risk. If you're somebody that I know, and I've been trying to tell you to do a photo shoot, just fucking do it. You don't have to work out. You don't have to get ready. Bro, I don't do shit like that. I will take photos of somebody studying and make that shit raw. Because it's not about the way you look, literally. Everything I do is deeper. Submit to not knowing the outcome, yet trusting that you're protected. So many day ones that I've never had to try and convince things of. On the other hand, I have 50 times the amount of people that I have wasted some energy on with the hopes that one day they'd understand their worth. And you know what? I'm a bleeding heart. But I will say that I'm very fortunate to continue to earn connections every single day in the restaurant that I work and on the streets that I walk in. That grounds me, that reminds me to stay focused. That's been a big issue of mine, and that's something that I've done a lot of work to tighten up. And we're not there yet, but we're so close. Get out of your head. You're too smart. You're too smart. If you're watching this, I know you got some value out of it. I was a bit tangential, but I'm exhausted. And you know what? No excuses. I went random. Tough nuts. But those that need to see this will. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you do with this information. I like to call it imitate and innovate. Copy what worked for somebody else and then just make it your own. Own it. You know? Don't do their style. Mimicking and copying is like, yeah. Authenticity is the most recognizable output that we express as humans that they've recently been able to scientifically measure. It's like hundreds of times more detectable than love. And that's why people can read the energy in a room. I said earlier two words, coincidentia oppositorum. That's what that is. It's an understanding of the vibrations. That when you walk into a room and the energy's bad or negative, you're wary of it. You're in tune with it. We don't see 99% of the light spectrum. Our brains are completely encased in darkness. It's just being told what's around us by our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, and our touch, but those distract us. Follow your gut. Don't get distracted by the excitement. How many times we've seen that happen to me today in little minuscule parts of the conversation. I'm aware of them though. I'm hyper aware of them. I just want you to have that same sort of knowledge. So I love you. I appreciate you for making it through an hour of me talking. I started this with just trying to get it in a minute. On text with carbonation, and you're worth the work.